Well, John, does that mean that we're ready for the next part of the show?
Paul, I think we are ready for your favorite time of the week
Why does this have to be my favorite time of the week?
because you get so excited talking about it.
I'm excited about that. I was more excited about baptism, but yeah, this is good too.
It is. What are you laughing at me for?
You just nothing. Okay. Well, I have a screwdriver. We're gonna try to get everything working just right, and we're gonna bring it in and see what we can do about some versus series.
Ba-dum.
I know that should be coming in right now, and it's not going to.
This is the Versus series. We're going to have a Versus series on McDonald's internet versus Panera Bread internet.
They both lose.
We are going to pay big money for Caleb whenever they finally bring in to his area of Tennessee high-speed internet. We are going to pay for it.
I literally just thought that very thing. How much does it cost Adventures in Ministry for us to make that happen so we're good to go?
We're going to bring a cell tower and place it right on property there. Just instead of using Wi-Fi, we're just going to plug right off the cell tower.
But I think he said they had one there. Yeah, he's shaking his head around in circles, so it's like
it's like a yes, no.
But it's not really. Only AT&T. So
that'd be perfect for me then.
Well, and for me, of course, you get it. I'd lose it when I go into my neighborhood, as John will know.
Oh, absolutely, you would. Oh, we're getting questions.
Questions about what?
This is from England, Paul.
Yeah, I saw that. We'll do that later. But right now, we're going to enter into the series, right?
Yes, Paul.
Yay! All right, John. Tell everybody what we're up against today.
We are up against the grand question that many people have asked from the north to the south is this question: which food is better? Krystals, which we enjoy in the great state here of Alabama, or White Castle, which they enjoy up in the northern area? That's the question we want to ask, Paul. What do you think? What do you have to say about this?
I have a lot to say about this. I drove by a Krystals this week.
Did you?
I did. And I also took a snapshot picture of it while I was in traffic. I was stopped, of course. I wasn't like texting and driving or taking pictures of driving. I was at a stoplight.
I would do that. That's me.
I want to go through that. I also was in Publix one day, and I took a picture of a box of White Castle burgers. So that's as close as I get to White Castle in the city of Birmingham. And so I started to assess those, and our good buddy Malvin Sanders, has just texted me, and he said, "I'm on Skype now." So who do I have him to call?
I don't know.
Okay. He's going to call me, and we're going to talk about it. This came from a tweet he sent out earlier, two weeks ago, I think, where I think we know where Malvin stands on his tweet, and I'm going to let him, when he gets in here, I'm going to let him to recreate the creative moment that was his tweet about Krystals versus White Castle, if he ever calls me. And when he does that, we'll do that. What I found is in our research this week on Krystal versus White Castle is there's not very many Krystal in the South. In fact, a lot of voters.
There's not many Krystals in the South? Is that what you just said?
There's not many White Castle in the South.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of difficult. Malvin Sanders, answer this call.
Paul left us. So everybody, Paul will be back in just a moment because he's got to add into our conversation, not that one. So that means I'm by myself. Yes, what Paul was saying is there's not a lot of those there's not a lot of White Castles here. I was hoping to go to try one because I wanted to go and see what exactly the difference was between Krystal and White Castle. I was telling Paul earlier this week I actually had 6 Krystals. Oh, Paul is back.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, good. Paul has come back. I was jabbering while you were gone.
No, you're fine.
And
but you're jabbering.
But I was telling everybody, Paul, that I was looking for a White Castle because, I wanted to go and try it so we could at least have some sort of reference here. And because I had Krystals this week, and I told you earlier that I went and had 6 of them.
6 of them. One thing I'll say about Krystals is I appreciate them being open 24/7 because at Exposure Youth Camp, when everything else is closed, Krystal is the answer.
It may not be later the next day, but
the next day it's usually not the answer. About 2 or 3 in the morning, about the time we get to go to sleep or start thinking about it, it does come in handy. But I do have Melvin Sanders online. He's here through my phone on speakerphone, hanging on the front end of my computer here, and so we're going to see how this works. So Melvin, give us a sound check.
Check 1, 2.
Oh, good. That's coming in good. All right, good deal. All right, so I was just explaining to the guys and to our listening audience about the moment in which you made a tweet about Krystals versus White Castle. I didn't tell them where you are, but I want you to explain your creative prowess of forming that tweet and give us your thoughts on what made you tweet that out. And then give us your thoughts on which is which and which is better and why, what, and all that stuff.
Gotcha. So I grew up going to Krystal all the time. That was like my Nana's favorite place to go, and we always had it. Obviously, it's good. I mean, it's not great. It's not like Waffle House.
It's 2 a.m. great.
It's 2 a.m. great.
Right. And some nights you're just like, man, I need some grease in my stomach. And so you go, you get a stack of Krystals, and you split a stack with somebody.
Yeah.
And you can get 12 Krystals, fries and a drink for both of you, and you both get 6. And it feels great in the moment, and then it feels terrible later. And that's Krystal. So I was in Kentucky last week, and I saw White Castle. And I'd always heard of White Castle, and I knew that they were similar to Krystal, and it was just kind of in the middle of the day, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go try White Castle. And man, can I tell you, it was so disappointing.
Oh.
Was it really?
It was so disappointing, yeah. Like, I walked inside, and, like, first of all, the bathroom was closed down. So let me just start there. The bathroom is closed. So, that's obviously a problem with this kind of restaurant.
Closed bathroom. Not good.
Yeah. And so I went up and I ordered some of their, air quote Krystals, and I ate my lunch, and man, it didn't even compare. Like, I expected, when you have Krystals, you expect later on to be disappointed by them, but you have to.
But in the moment, it's okay.
With White Castle, I got no enjoyment from it, and I regretted it
later. So Malvin, the taste. I mean, the hamburger. I can't even call it a hamburger. The slider, which
they call them sliders.
They're sliders. And White Castle says theirs is the very first slider ever made. And I didn't go back to look and see the origins of which restaurant started first. Maybe somebody else can do that right now. I don't know. But anyway. The thickness of the slider seems the same in both. Am I right?
They seem about the same. Yeah. About the same.
Okay. Here's the question, Malvin. Does it taste the same?
No, it does not taste the same. The main problem with the sliders at White Castle was like the bread was very lacking in grease, but not in a good way. Like, it was very like dry, and like, it just didn't match up. Didn't match up to the bread at Krystal, and they added on. They didn't have the same kind of. I don't know how to explain it. They just didn't have that same like slimy goodness as you ate down on it, and it just was not as good.
You know what the problem is here, Paul?
What's that?
The problem here is that Krystal is a southern restaurant, and we can't have anything on our food that doesn't have as much grease that you could use, that you could pour out and change the oil in your car. And if it doesn't have that, then it's no good.
That is true.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We do like some greasy stuff down here, in the South for sure.
But the worst part though was the French fries. They had crinkle cut French fries.
Hey.
And, Krystal isn't known for their French fries, but they're okay. They're serviceable. These were crinkle cut French fries that tasted like they had been left out and like zero salt on them. It was not a good experience.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good at all.
So what you're telling everybody to do is to not go north of Kentucky, because if you do that, then you're stuck with White Castle and you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You should never go north of Kentucky.
He didn't say your sliders. He just said in general. That's it.
That's my general advice.
That's the Northern tip. I love it.
You should never go.
That's great.
I'm going to be in Kentucky in a couple of weeks, Paul. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, we're going this summer actually.
We are.
That'll be fun. We'll have to check out that slider with no grease.
For those wondering, I was in Glasgow, Kentucky. The White Castle in Glasgow, Kentucky.
Glasgow. Wow, we pointed them out. That's good.
Heads up.
The lawyers will be calling us soon.
Mess with me, man. I'll call you out.
I don't know this, but our buddy Melvin here is wearing a Alabama. Sorry, I apologize. An Atlanta Braves hat, and so he is in full force, ready to go.
Man, we should ask Malvin how disappointed he was from yesterday's game.
Yeah.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I keep up with the Braves kind of sparingly here recently. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of busy with everything, and I honestly didn't even watch it.
Gotcha.
I know that's super disappointing on the show here, but
no, I'm with you. I had to watch it in replay as well. So
I'm probably gonna get some flack for it, but I'm excited for the season.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on why they won't pick up Kimbrel when they need him so badly?
I don't know. I really don't. I just feel like maybe the idea of kind of him coming back to Atlanta is weird. I don't know. That's my only guess.
Kind of like Brian McCann.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which didn't go too well yesterday. Now y'all should know we are talking to a Georgia boy. I mean, he has his favorite pizza in the Atlanta area is Olympia's, and would you like to plug that for us for your folks?
Well, actually, my parents have sold Olympia Pizza.
Oh.
Yeah. It's under new management, so I can't really speak to it. But They do own a country cooking store just down the road from there, called Bridgeview Country Cooking. So if you're in on the south side of Atlanta, you just stop in there, say hey to them.
That's awesome.
They actually just finished filming for a Food Network show. They came in and renovated for them and stuff. So
wow,
did they?
Oh.
Huh.
So they
Well,
came in and renovated it and everything, and so it was a cool experience for them.
Well, Malvin, you want to? I didn't even introduce you or anything. Do you want to tell our listening audience who you are, what you do, where you do it?
Hi, everyone. I'm Malvin Sanders, and I'm the youth minister at the Highland Church of Christ in Columbia, Tennessee.
That is awesome. Hey, can I speak for this? I want to say Malvin, I got to be with Malvin last weekend at SOAR, and he did a phenomenal job on Sunday morning. And, and of course, I didn't get to go to his class because I was teaching my own class or whatever like that. But I want to give major props out. If you need a speaker, Bible class teacher, you need to call up Malvin and get him to come down.
If you need his information, he is on Facebook, or contact us. We'll get everything to you that you need. Malvin is top notch, and he does everything all the way. And
thank you guys.
He's
I'm gonna
great.
cry.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us for the Versus series.
Yeah. And just everybody needs to know Krystal is by far the better experience. So don't think you're missing anything out just because White Castle's on TV sometimes. So.
Well, we had 130 votes, and 75% said they agree with you. Krystal did win. over White Castle.
There you go. That's it.
So, all right.
Settled.
Thanks, Mal.
All right, man. See you
Love
guys.
you, bud. Bye.
See you, buddy. You know what, Paul? That means that later on, and we don't need to do it next week since we just did this, but we need to give it another month or so. We need to bring Dale on, and we need to have a Krystal versus Big Spring #2.
Well, you know Big Spring's going to win. Well, how would that do?
Because
you
there's
could-
grease. There's
No.
grease on a burger, and then there's Big Spring #2
You
grease.
can't do that vote because that's like a Huntsville only thing. There's no way it would have a chance to win. Even though, John, it is a better hamburger. Big Spring, because it's greasier than your Krystal. We've already established greasy is the winner. So there's that. So this has
It's a #2 greasy.
This is #2 greasy. It is called Big Spring #2. I'll let you use your imagination on why that's the case. But it is a great burger and in its own right. And so the winner is Krystal over White Castle. And this has been the Versus series brought to you by adventuresinministry.com. Thank you for being here for the Versus series.